This is the test against a single Gatling gun. We are now going to test them against the same Gatling gun, but this time the torpedoes are going to be the kinetic torpedoes. Well, as you can see, the Gatling gun has a harder time destroying those because they don't have an explosive warhead. Although, I would have to move the target further away so I can increase the actual firing range of the Gatling gun. Okay, test number 2. As you can see, the torpedoes have been engaged as soon as they left the tubes. One of them is off already. Well, in general, the Gatling gun couldn't stop a single one of them. I mean, that's besides the fact it's besides the fact that some of them actually like flew past it, but what I just discovered, something that, well, it's kind of obvious. Those kinetic torpedoes actually they penetrate more as they gain in speed. So there you have it. I mean, they can actually penetrate this thick layer if they're given the actual distance to accelerate, which is actually how kinetic projectiles work in real life. Just look at this hole. So now we need to check if we can actually put a gyroscope in it without having that buffer effect that they used to have. Okay, further testing. As you can see, I added the gyroscope to stabilize the kinetic torpedoes. So let's get on the cockpit and fire them at the target. Thrusters on, torpedoes at 0 degrees launch. Seems like they have like a harder time accelerating now. This is flying straight. Well, as you can see, the gyroscope at the nose actually makes them, let's say, a bit bouncy when they hit the target and they don't, whoa, and they don't penetrate as much. So I guess it's one thing for the other. Well, they actually made the hole, didn't go through, so in a way the armor worked. And the main goal of armor is, I mean, not to be indestructible, is to be able to protect the contents. Well, since the game doesn't have atmospheres yet, I guess there won't be any crew members like flying off into space. I also tried to tip a torpedo, a kinetic torpedo with an explosive warhead, to see if maybe the explosive would weaken the armor and then the kinetic warhead would penetrate. But as I was saying before, the explosion from this from this warhead actually destroys the components of the torpedo, and not only that, it's really susceptible to the Gatling gun. So as you can see, even a single Gatling gun can take off like an entire volley of explosive warheads. So at this point I would say the kinetic torpedo is a viable option. Putting the gyroscope is kind of like a compromise between accuracy and actual penetration. So, but I would say the one with the gyroscope on would be kind of like the definitive version of the torpedo, because if you don't put a gyroscope, you won't be able to achieve like this accuracy and this distance, and you do need the distance for the torpedo to actually accelerate and be able to penetrate. So no gyroscope, no distance. Another alternative would be to actually use gravity-driven torpedo, but well, you know, the problem with those are that they are easily deflected by defensive gravity fields. Not only that, they tend to twist and turn on their center of mass. So you either add two mass blocks the exact same distance from the center of mass, or you add the mass block, or you have the center of mass like right on the actual middle portion of the torpedo, which is kind of hard to achieve given the components that you get, like a reactor, mass block, and the actual penetrating tip. They do not balance very well on the center of mass. So well, I'll keep you posted with further testing.